Okay, today we're going to be tuning up this Trek 7.2 FX. The customer brought it in. It's got a couple of issues. The brake's dragging, not too sure about the gears. I see some other stuff. I'll make some notes for the customer, what they need to have done above and beyond a standard tune-up, and we'll go from there. Let's get into it. We're going to start by pulling the front wheel off. Actually, I'm going to inspect the tire quickly before I do that. Just going to look at the tread, and I'm going to make sure there's nothing. It looks really horrible. The tire's got a little age, but it doesn't look like there's any cracking. That was a reasonable quality tire. So we'll pull that off. This is on backwards. We'll put that on the correct way when it's reassembled. Set that there for the moment. Those. Okay, so we've removed the front wheel, and we're going to set that aside, lean that against this tree, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at the back tire, give that a little inspection, make sure that that looks good as well. These both have air in them. This is a newer looking tire, so not a lot of concern around that. Give it a little glance. I'm going to go ahead and remove the wheel for cleaning and adjustment. I'm going to take both of these wheels over here. So I just use a basic hub that I've converted. I've put two different cogs on it, and I have a little system that doesn't fit right in there, so it acts as my chain pulley. It's just an old hub that's laying around. Now it's useful. Okay, we're going to clean the drivetrain now. I've got a trusty, this is made by Sunlight, little gear cleaning brush. I really like this one. It's inexpensive, and it's super awesome. It works great. Get in there with this brush. It's all covered in grease and oil. Looks like they just took a can of Tri-Flow, just sprayed it all over everything. Looks awful. Well, that's a good sign. Looks like the gears all somewhat shift. Be careful when you're backpedaling there. Sometimes you'll derail off your back end there. That's very good. Let's get that back down to where it belongs. All right. Okay, back here to the front. Still has the sticker residue. And I don't even know what year this bike is. 15 years ago. Maybe. Alright. So much happier with the chain's appearance. I'm going to give it a little treatment with some Finish Line One Step lubricant and cleaner in one. And that'll break down a little bit more of what's on there. And just leave a nice little coating behind. It does need to be applied more often, but you always want your chain to be clean. You don't want all this gunk on the outside. Just going to attract some dirt. Okay, chain looks pretty good. There's something in there. Oh, looks like we got some string. If I can get that out of there, that would be great. Okay, here's what we're going to use today. We're just going to put a light coating of this on the chain, and I like to use a little short straw. I can hold the can with one hand, hold the rag behind there, then I can sort of press with my thumb, bounce it on my knee, and just apply a real light coating. I'm keeping the limiting the overspray to the area, you know, right here adjacent to the chain. Let's get my towel moved. Paper sheet moved around. Alright, so now we've positioned our packing material to catch the drippings. Gonna let that go for just a few seconds. Gonna go through. I'll go ahead and shift through the front derailleur. I'm just gonna hit these pivot points. While I'm at it, get the brakes. Get behind here, this little spring, little shot right there. You're definitely not allowing it to get onto the brake pads. Okay. While we're at it, we'll get the front. We're going to be cleaning the brake pads off as well as the rims. We'll inspect them. They all look great to me. It doesn't look like they're worn significantly. The rear pads look to be newer than the front, but they all look good. The headset feels tight. Yeah, that doesn't feel there's any play there. The spacers are tight. That's a good sign. So there won't be anything necessary other than perhaps alignment and torque checking on the stem. Everything seems solid in the front, and the back looks all right as well. So we're going to go ahead and wipe off the chain. We let that drip down for a while, and now we want to just wipe off any excess that might be on the outside, because we don't want to repeat the process that had just happened. So we just want to have the bushings lubricated. The outside doesn't need to be lubricated. My rag is a bit juicy. Actually gonna hit that with. Okay, we're back with a new rag, slightly less oily. Gonna get off all that excess from the chain. We don't want to be starting that whole process over again. Okay, we're going to remove the cables, just the ends out of the housing. See, these guys are crisscrossed in the front. So we're going to take this up, and then we're going to hold tension on the wire while we click it back. That gives us the release, and the shifter now is not all knotted up. Remove that. The front is right there, so I will just pull tension on this while I click this. Off she comes. So now I have my 4 cable ends exposed, 6 cable ends. I'm just going to wipe those down real quick get any dust or dirt off of there. Pull that off. Make sure that the housing ferrule isn't broken. Wipe off here. The same up here. That's the wrong side. Tricky. That looks alright. That doesn't look great. So we've got all this cable coming out of there, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that back. I'll look at the front one too. The front one should be trimmed back as well. So that's added a little bit of work. We're going to be quick about that. So now, probably getting close to running out of time. Pull that off of there. We're going to go ahead and let that off of there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and undo this. Pull the cable ends. Without kinking the cable. There's our issue. You don't want that wire sticking out of there. Also, the ferrules are quite bent, which might be difficult to see with my gloves. But they are twisted, so they're going to get replaced as well. So I'm just going to trim these guys down. The housing doesn't look cracked or really shot. You know, we're just tuning this up. We're not throwing money at this. We're going to go ahead and trim these ends off of here. Get my tool on there, and then I'm going to hold on to those ends. Put those in my pile. Put those in my pile. Give this a little squeeze to open that up. Picks. There. Take my little pick and just go down in there and round that out nicely. Install some new ferrules. Works good if you press it against something firm. In this case, I'll use this crank bolt. Okay. Same treatment for the other one. Okay, I'm gonna give this cable a little shot of lubricant. Wipe off the dirt. Unfortunately, the cable is a little frayed. I'm going to trim that. Hopefully, I can put that through. So it looks good. And trim off the ends of this cable. We've got the, as you can see, the same as before. The cable end is all, this end looks a little bit worse. So we're going to trim those bits off. We're only trimming just a tiny little bit. And for this end as well. And use our pick. Give that a little reaming. Also trim a little bit off there. Okay, we've got a little bit of a cable runner there, but I've got, I think, plenty of cable. So I should be able to go up around here, and I'll still have enough to trim off. Let's do this so you can see what I'm doing. Difficult to see. You can go ahead and grab hold of that with some little pliers. Pull that taut, make sure that's up and over and down, and then behind. We're in the small chain ring. Good. We're going to trim this off. Just twist that back together if we can. Got that on there. Okay, let me go ahead and do the rear, which you won't be able to see. I'll be off camera for that. Trim that guy real quick. And we'll grab our other cable in. Okay. Alright, so we've got our cables fixed up, we've got that taken care of. Now we're going to go ahead and clean the frame off. So we have our shifting components taken care of. I am looking at the front derailleur and I can see that looks a little bit out of alignment. I'm going to go ahead and give that a little bit of a adjustment. It needs to go just a tiny bit that way. Just a little bit, like less than a millimeter. Okay. Okay, that's all good. We got a new cable. We're going to try to stretch that out. We're going to put that down. We're going to pull down on this cable. And we're going to pull down on this cable. It actually stretched quite a bit. That one did not. For the rear, maybe the fairings perhaps, or the ferrules need to be seated better perhaps. But we definitely need to pull some slack out of there. It's a lot. There's a fair amount there. We'll take that out up here. Back. I'd like to pull that out right here. It's probably off camera just by a tiny bit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the brake cable. I'll stick this in my apron for a second. Go ahead and disconnect that from there, disconnect it from the front. Then we're going to pull the wire away, and we're going to do the same sort of treatment we gave the shift cables. We're going to put a little bit of lube on this somewhat clean rag. Then we're just going to rub that along the cable, clean that up nice, run the housing out of the way, do the same thing there. I'm going to give a little shot of lubricant into the noodle, not very much, just a little shot. I'm going to run that back and forth. Then we're going to go to the front. And we're going to do the same thing. Pull that down. Here's our little oily spot. Get a little shot in the end there. And we're going to do the same for the front. Okay, get a little shot up here. Okay. I'm going to take this out. Okay, we're going to do a little check on the wheel here. We're going to see what the bearings feel like. They actually feel pretty good. There's no play in them. And they spin pretty well. Pretty good, rather. Little hair in there, pull that out. Now we're just going to clean up this cassette a little bit. Wipe that down. Get some of that gunk off the outside. I'll go ahead and I don't think I'm really going to need this, but we'll go ahead and demonstrate here. This will be a typical process. This cassette's pretty clean actually, so there's not a lot to get out of there. But I'll go ahead and run this this rag through here. I'll get the back of it. Okay, rear wheel will set aside. Grab the front wheel. Give the bearings a quick check. See what they feel like. They feel alright. They also don't feel there's no play. The wheel spins fine. It looks really straight, just like the rear wheel did. So we'll set that aside for a moment. We're going to grab a clean rag. We're going to give this bike a quick spray down. We're going to wipe it down. Just give a couple shots here and there. Simple green's what I like to use. I'm going to hit my brake pads. I think this works great on brake pads. That's good. Okay, so we sprayed the bike down. We're going to give it a quick wipe down. We're going to take a look at the welds. Make sure that there's no cracks anywhere that are visible. I'll give that a little bit closer inspection once I wipe it down a bit. gloves are about toast. It's got some, looks like some residue from some other bicycle or something that leaned against it. I'm going to see if we can get that off. See if we can get this paint. It's like paint. Okay, we're gonna put the wheel back on now. And the front wheel. Nice imprint in my hand. I don't like that angle. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for right there. This wheel looks good too. So we just need to hook the brakes up. We'll go ahead and do the front brake adjustment now. But before I do that, I'm going to clean this wheel off. Back with our simple green. Brand new clean rag. Go ahead and give that a nice wipe down. On this side. Use this rag. Both look a little low. So we go up a little bit more. Okay, we're going to do the rear brake now. It looks really good. Make sure those guys are tight. You guys can do this quick true. Still really loose. Now we got it. Now we got it. Actually trying to overship. Let's see see it's going too far. Okay, we're going to check the cranks. We're looking for 40 Newton meters. That feels pretty good. That moved a little bit. We'll go ahead and check the rest of these bolts here. This one we moved, so we know it's tight. Check this guy. This guy. This guy. This seat is damaged right here, so we'll probably be replacing that. Okay, my customer also wanted these little mini toe clips made by Zeffel. These pedals are directional. This is the front. My ratchet doesn't fit. Okay, just a quick test ride and this machine's ready to go back to the customer. Thanks for watching and enjoy the ride.